I saw Sonic the Hedgehog Part 3. Anyone seen it? Really good. Go see it. Yeah. It's kind of for adults too. There's a lot of adult things. But I think the kids have to see Sonic. And take them out to eat downtown. Okay, we're in chapter 4. But I want to kind of maybe review the syllabus to see what we got coming up, so we're all kind of staying on schedule with our projects. Have you been communicating with each other about what we're going to decide on? Who here has picked a company? No one? All right, your first sort of presentation is coming up soon, so I want you to get on that. All right, remember I said it's probably better if you can pick something local, maybe something you can personal. Sometimes students pick family business that, they may or may not be involved with, or a business of a friend, someone that they know, who operates a small business. But oftentimes students pick businesses that are kind of local, somewhere around like the suburbs or the cities. Around here, sometimes we could physically maybe go to see, maybe Google. Yeah, so we can do that, and then maybe next week I'll talk about our 3D printing that we'll do. It's a little bit of happen at the Clink Library. In which case you go to the website, pick a model of an item that will represent your company, like symbolism, sort. You'll send that file over to the library that have a 3D printer there, and they will print it out, and that will also be part of your presentations later in the semester. This chapter we're talking about business markets and the like, right? So business markets and purchasing behavior. Before we talked about consumer markets, right? Individuals. We go to the store, we buy stuff for our needs and make choices, figure out how we make that choice, alternatives that we have. But here we're talking about something a little bit different. How do businesses make decisions about buying, right? And which markets and the distribution and the like. But we'll get to that in a second. Let me just pull up here the syllabus so we know what's coming up. So, in about, we're in week 4, so at the end of module 5, coming into week 6, so after next, so the week after next, we're going to start our presentation. Right? So make sure you're getting prepared. Here, our first project, our first assignment, company profile. First part of your team-based marketing plan, you will work in teams of the groups. Everyone has a group. Everyone doesn't have a group. You work in your groups. To complete the company profile section of your marketing plan for a small business or not-for-profit organization. Right, remember the goal of this class is to actually have a full marketing plan by the end of the class. And it'd be great, like I told you, you pick a small company, tell them what you're doing. Again, I'm going to go be a student. Working in this class with Dr. Ross, you can reach out to me if you need to. But we're devising marketing plans. They probably would love that they could have one. It's free, right? But it'd be great if it's something that you actually really communicate table, then maybe we sat down, observed like, hey, what's lacking in this business? How come this business doesn't seem successful? Or, you know, if it is a successful business, how can we make it grow? Right, so it's kind of a real world application to the plan. Like I said, this is great. You can put it on your LinkedIn profile, it's something that you carry with you. You get your first interviews on internships. Hey, show me a project that you work on. Show me something that actually did with some results. You can maybe after class follow up. Like, hey, did that increase sales? Like, yeah, we did changes and increased sales by 3%. Quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2025. Like, that would be great. You know, there's something, an actual project you apply the learning to. Or, you know, you could keep it simple, just do as is, if you don't want to do all of it. But I would say it probably makes it a little bit more interesting, probably a little bit more engaging if you did do that. Probably get a lot more motivation if you were to do that. Just walk in and talk to some business owners of a company that changes. I highly recommend it, right? But our first presentation, you're gonna come up here and show us about a company profile, right? So you're gonna give us a company profile. Okay, so that'll be week 6, so prepare for that. All right, business markets and purchasing behavior. Who here started a business again? Who here plans on starting a business? All right, we got photography and architecture. Well, athletic, the athletic, right? Tell me some things that you're going to need to buy in order to satisfy customers, to actually operate your business. Right? You gotta buy stuff, right? The customer's gotta buy from you. Well, who do you gotta buy? What do you have to buy in order to satisfy this sort of process? What do you think for photography? And have you looked into that? Like, hey, what's your process gonna be? What brands of cameras, lenses, tripods, lighting? Are you doing all-in-one package deals to simplify it? Or are you buying different things from different vendors? What's the process?
I mean, right now, the budget that I have is gonna be minimal, but looking into Canon and their, like, all of their equipment, cameras, lenses.
Right, so you're like, hey, different manufacturers of camera equipment may better than others. Is that the thought process? Or maybe like, hey, yeah, some are really, really great, but I can't afford that. Like, why can't I?
Because they have good quality equipment and it is affordable for me right now. And you can do a lot with that equipment just in post and editing. I feel like that is equally as important as the equipment. So even if the equipment is expensive, putting the time in there will also.
Your software, editing software, is that needs to be purchased too?
Yeah.
Like a subscription or
Yeah.
something? Okay. All right, and are you purchasing camera equipment from Amazon or you going directly to Canon.com or something, or what's the plan?
Directly,
Why?
because I feel like that's more reliable.
Maybe there's an offering with like warranties and stuff. Right? And a lot of decisions, like you like say something just like that, you're like, you're gonna start like making the money, yeah, right? But there's a lot of stuff that have to decide on. Hey, what can I afford? How quickly will it get here? Will they satisfy an issue, a technical issue? Right? If I have a problem, I can buy a new camera, can I get a warranty? Should I get insurance on this equipment? Right? So it's assured in case it breaks. A lot of things, who will I get the insurance from? Right? Should I go to Amazon? Should I buy it off eBay? Should I buy some cheap website, right? That I can't really trust. Lots of things. What about for our athletic center?
We utilize actual facility, like land, us, then sports equipment. Then, yeah, stuff to replace stuff like that, stuff like, legends, ball posts and all that.
Hey, like, hey, track of stuff, people selling stuff, they're selling baseball, they're selling basketball, so we can track it with the inventory, camera systems, to keep a barcode on each, right? You gotta keep stock of this, things, because people steal, right? Whether they work there, people who work there, they steal. People who come in, they steal, right? Especially with small things like that, like, yeah, we're gonna have somebody to track all the, different small items, right? And then we're not even talking about the different people we gotta hire, the training, and all those things. But we're just talking at the basics. You need a place, right? So you think of a place, right? Oh, I start from scratch and buy land and build a building. How long does that take? Oh, 3 years to complete it. Well, 3 years, you're not making any money. Right? Maybe I go, I'll buy a place that's relatively modest because it's affordable and I can quickly start making money. So a lot of decisions. This is as a business, right? We're not talking about people who are going to show up to the place and start having memberships, et cetera. A lot of things to take place. And it's systems to keep track of it too. Database systems, electronic systems, et cetera. Right, so in this module, we learn B2B, right? Before we learn B2C, business to consumer. Right, so this is B2B market. Buyers and buying situations in B2B markets, major influences on the behavior, the stages, the process, and always at the end we talk about the ethics of it all. Alright, so business consumer markets, which we talked about originally. It's like buying decisions for individuals and or households, right? You and I going to the store, the grocery store, or retail shop to buy shoes, clothes, and things of that nature. That's B2C. Smaller purchases, many buyers. Right? Lots of items on the shelves at Walmart, at at Target. Right? A lot of stuff with a lot of people coming in. Short buying decision cycles. Right? You walk into the store, make a decision. Should I buy this? Should I not? Take 1, 2 seconds, look at this. Lots of brands versus another. Oh, this one's on sale. I'll buy that. I'll keep it moving. Get the rest of my stuff and get out of here. Right? Or it may be even different. It may be curbside. You're like, I just went online quickly and I repeated the same purchase of groceries from last week and added 3 extra things. Pull up the Target, do curbside, and bring it out to the car quick. Right? More reliance on mass marketing. You need mass marketing because there's a lot of items. It's a marketplace, right? How will you know about every single item? They have to promote it through email, through some promotion on the website, maybe they're using social media platforms, search engine marketing, SEM, Google, right? And many consumers located throughout the world. Right? Close to 8 billion human beings on planet Earth, so we have a lot of consumer power there. Now, B2B is a little bit different, right? We're buying decisions for companies that serve consumers. So how do we think? Like, hey, I want to make a Tesla car. Let's not say Tesla. Let's say we want to start an electric vehicle car manufacturer of our own. Like, wow, how many components goes into making this car? Thousands into one vehicle. You're like, wow, we have to make a decision literally about every single component. 1,000 or more components to go in this one vehicle so that we could make more of these vehicles and sell them to people for a high price. You're like, yeah. Like, well, what screws should we use? What kind of plastic? What grade is it? Right? Who's going to build the machines? Put it together. Right? Little rivet sort of machines, right? Screwdriver, electrical, hydraulic press. Like, that is a lot. If you're a manufacturer, you are constantly buying. And the sort of simplified process, you probably want to buy from as little amount of distributors as possible, right? Because if not, it just gets too confusing. Hey, one of the ships coming over from overseas is wrecked. Oops, I guess our customers won't have their vehicle for another 6 months. Right? How to redundancies built in. And then you're like, well, who are we selling it to? We finally got an electric vehicle to sell. Who do we sell it to? Like, do we just tell people to come into the factory and buy the cars? Like, no, we don't. We tell them to go to a dealership. Like, oh, there's a reseller? Yeah. There's a dealership that we sell the cars to. And it's their job to worry about sales, commission, interest, rates, and all that stuff for us to go buy the car. Right, so a lot of things taken, a lot of changes happen, right? A lot of decisions being made for B2B, right? So we say the buying decision is a little bit more critical. It's not very quick, that's well thought out, well planned. If not, it's not going to work. So we say larger purchases, fewer buyers. Longer, more complex buying decision cycles. Right? Like, hey, we purchase every 6 months. If we are a food organization, do we buy from our vendors and then replace it every 2 days? Food goes bad, right? Fruits and veggies, milk and all this stuff goes bad. How often are we buying in the cycle? Sometimes more reliance on personal selling. Right? When you say, hey, a car is a pretty complex machine. Right? And then you're like, well, what about other things like medical devices? Right? We have to buy like a CT scan machine. And you're part of the hospital records. Hey, which CT scan machine should we buy? Right. Well, here's our options. They're limited. But they're so technical, the engineering on them, that we might need an expert to come in and kind of help us, right? Or that company who sells them has a salesperson, and that salesperson can answer every question you have, right? Every possible question. Anybody ever work in sales? What kind of sales? What were you selling? Yeah, like at a grocery store. Yeah. But you just kind of like, we doing stock and just answering customer service questions and things like that? Yeah. All right, anybody else working some sort of like door-to-door sales? All right? And usually it's probably be one of your first jobs if you can't find like a job that you really want, right? You might get into insurance, you might, in the summertime, people sell like, things to kind of get rid of weeds and the grass, right? All that type of stuff. And then customers have a lot of questions. Hey, what kind of chemicals is it made from? This time my kids, I got small kids. What about the dog? Right? If it's pest control coming out to the house to get rid of ants and all these things. Hey, will this harm the wall? Does this kill birds? Right? How long will it last? Right? You need somebody to answer technical questions. Real things and things to maybe illustrate in person. Hey, let me sit down, let me show you exactly what it does. So sometimes it takes a lot of personal stuff. Once again, the dealership is an example, right? You go to the dealership, they're hounding you, hey, what are you looking for today, right? What brings you in today? Anyone ever work in a clothing store? No? No retail? Right? That's usually the first thing. Hey, how can I help you? What are you looking for? Right? And then you start talking and get a little more information from the customer, and then you start directing them to buy it. Then you tell them about promotions. Like, hey, you know what? I can get 20% off if you add this on. Like, what? I didn't know that. Right? So personal selling is really high when it comes to B2B. Fewer customers, often geographically concentrated in areas based on cost, access, and availability of resources. All right, so maybe one of the questions you can ask for whoever is the manager or owner in the companies that you're going to select is like, hey, what's your distribution like? Right? Like, you know, what do you mean? Like, well, hey, how often does it take you to get the products on the shelves? What is your delivery cycle? How much are they charging? Is it cheaper? Are there some alternatives? Right? Is there some place that sell it even closer? It is even faster as opposed to some other sort of alternatives, right? And then the availability of resources. Going back and saying, it's different. If you're a manufacturer or producer, lithium-ion batteries. And you're like, well, where's the access to resources? Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa. Right? And you're like, well, how do we get it out? Right? You're like, I don't know, they dig it out by hand for the most part there, right? It's kind of a free-for-all. You're like, well, how long is that process? Right, you know, so it takes a little while, right? You might make some strategic sort of moves, like, hey, you know what, we have to work for the government and get some sort of license so we can bring some equipment and take out equipment. Because we want to make batteries to supply for all the electric vehicles, laptops, and phones are a huge market. You may have to have some expenditures there in a foreign country just to get access, right? If not, it'll change the cost, right? The longer it takes to do things, the higher the cost. All right, so what's the nature of the buying decision, right? We'll look at direct demand versus direct demand, longer buying cycles, reliance on personal selling, and the geographic. So those are what we covered. Now here's the types of buyers in B2B, right? We have things like producers. We say producers are manufacturers. Totally different mindset. You're like, I build from scratch and make a great device or machine, right? So that people can use it to build things. You may be an engineering company. You're like, hey, there's some companies that need a specific type of machine to make a specific type of things. Maybe just for bowling or aircraft. Right? They need a specific machine to put the rivets on at 1,000 sort of rivets per minute. So we have to build the machine from scratch, right? Totally different thing. Maybe there's all the parts that you have to get. It's an item or bill of sales that you're looking at, right? You're producing something for others to use. Next, we have resellers. Who can give me an example of a reseller? What's a reseller? Such as? Okay, yeah. Shoe store, you're like, oh, they didn't make it, I used to just sell them, right? Going to Walgreens, but besides the brand, that their Walgreens brand, everything else they bought, right? They bought the Tide from Procter and Gamble, right? Dawn dishwashing liquid, they bought everything, the Bounty, paper towels, they reselling things that the producers made it, the producers packaged it, the producers put the label on it, and they put the barcode on it, right? And the reseller's like, oh, we just resell it. Target, Walmart, right? Think of maybe wholesalers. What are some wholesale stores? You can retail, wholesale. Yeah. Sam's Club, Costco, right? You can get 2 memberships. You get a regular membership or you get a business membership. And you're like, hey, businesses need more stuff. So the businesses buy from Costco and they buy from Sam's Club, and you do too. If you got a membership, you go to Costco, but you got a big family or you don't want to keep coming back to the store. Right? But Costco's a reseller, but it's a wholesaler. It just buys it all. It just resells it all. Resells it all. Hey, the university here. How many chairs were needed for this lecture hall? You have to do purchase. What are the size of these little tables? These need to be purchased. Right? The electronic equipment needs to be purchased. What kind of displays are going to use? Everything needs to be purchased. You'll see oftentimes men and women driving with a little go-kart or whatever on the grounds, transporting different things. Right? But if you go to the basement here, you see a lot of activity on keeping, like storing all the toilet paper, office supplies, things of that nature, right? There's a lot to operate an institution. This is an institution. It takes a lot. So part of your tuition is like, hey, how do we keep the doors open? Somebody got to pay for all this stuff. Right? That's part of it. Keep going. And the usually if there's some sort of great profit, then the schools expand. Oh, we're gonna build a new theater hall in 2 years, because we went up on tuition, right? We got a lot more money than we need, how do we get more students? More maybe theatrical students, right? Now schools kind of focus on arts and sports, right? We need to build a new football stadium, a cover, right? Maybe it opens up for the winter time, something. So this usually how it works with institutions. And also institutions could be not-for-profit. Remember, most schools are not-for-profit. Most traditional higher learning schools, colleges are not-for-profit, universities. What does that mean to be not-for-profit? Simple terms. What separates for-profit and not-for-profit? Yeah. So you're saying it's the amount of money? Okay.
Not-for-profits reinvest their revenue.
Not-for-profits reinvest, okay.
Or they generally make their money through like donations and stuff like that.
Okay, general donations, charity,
Yeah, not like they reinvest. It's not all the money, but the majority.
reinvestment, right? Kind of simple way to understand not-for-profit, for-profit, not-for-profit don't have shares and stuff. Right? They're not selling shares. Now, if you say, hey, I'm going to a for-profit school, Arizona State University, they go, what does that mean, for-profit? Hang on. I mean, that there's a parent company on the New York Stock Exchange that owns that university that sells stock. People are buying. So as a concept, man, I don't like that. Because it's like random people who don't need to go to the school, like big time investors. Like, it may be that they're more profit driven than education, quality education could stink, right? But what gave the investors a really control? Not-for-profit is basically like, hey, since we can't have shares, we better have some great education, right? For people to pay the cost of what come to go here. Or guess what? The people are so successful that went to the school, graduated, became millionaires and billionaires, and they give us money back as charity endowments, right? The largest endowments, look up, somebody Google Harvard endowments 2024. That's how much charity was given back to Harvard. Somebody Google it. Yes.
What differentiates like a school today? Like what are the factors about this school that makes this school like a non-profit? And then it's like Arizona is for profit. Is it like the athletics program that moves in most of the money, or is it other factors?
I mean, it could be several other factors. One, this is a religious-based college, right? It means that the Lutheran Church, the Synod, which I believe is headquartered in Missouri, is responsible for creating this institution. Now, most churches are not for profit, which means they can accept donations, right? Legally, 503, you can accept donations. The government understands people can donate, right?
For for-profits, they're not allowed to accept donations?
Primarily not, yeah. They would have to have something completely different that was not profit. For-profit means that it's driven by tuition and other factors. Not-for-profit means it's driven by tuition and those stock shares, the valuation of the stock, right? That's like it will be Tesla stock. It will be a company, usually their company will kind of sometimes isolate its name from the school. They're like a little acronym, and you're like, oh, there's a real company actually owns the university. But for this college, that's not the case. They're not on the New York Stock Exchange.
So theoretically, like, if Concordia decided to be a for-profit, that would kind of be worse for them, because it would be a lot harder for them to get money.
Yeah, they would no longer accept donations, and it will be relegated on the stock price. So if you say, hey, that stock drops for whatever reason, the school will probably suffer. They may have to close down the doors, right? Because it's just like they can't sustain because the value, there's no more stockholders. People took their money away. You're like, what people took their money away? The people who don't even go to the school. Right? Like, there's just random investors in Montana, they don't even know, they're like, oh, this is good stock, right? Oh, they own these 3 for-profit universities, and churches can't buy it because we think education prices will go up. It's a great stock. We're like, they have literally no, they're not a stakeholder in the school, we're stakeholders, right? We participate, you're the one giving the money, and then people who graduate, who are maybe Lutheran or very religious or Christian, or part of the community of River Forest, or Oak Park, say, you know what? I donate to the university. And that money accumulates to buy more buildings, to increase it, makes it look even more beautiful, put up new banners as you walk through, et cetera. Yes.
What's the difference between, endowment and donation percentage?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So the public university.
Public university, they get endowments, public, yeah.
Well, for-profit. They can have that.
No, they're not supposed to have endowments, right? They would have to have something completely different that's a full, not-for-profit, entity, right? That's the rules, right? You can't get charity and be on the New York Stock Exchange. You can't have stock shares and be asking people for money like that. Coca-Cola has Coca-Cola, and they started a foundation called the Coca-Cola Foundation. That part is not for profit, and that's part about doing good stuff in the world, and probably maybe even accept some charity. To a degree. Right, and so what it is not-for-profit institutions are far superior, because the truth of the matter is that most of the people that keeps it running are people who graduated and give money back. Hence why one day, if you're so successful, let's say you graduate and become multi-millionaire, you might come back with an endowment check to the school and be like, hey, Concordia, here's $12 million. I want you to build a stadium, football stadium, for my name. So I graduated. That would name your name, such and such, such and such stadium. We've got a library called the Clink Library, every building has a name. We got little benches with people's names on it. I mean, they donated 10 grand for the bench, for their name. Got a little atrium, a little walkway, something to contribute to the environment. Does that make sense? Right, so what was, who Harvard's endowment? At 53 billion, that means $53 billion donated by people who probably graduated from Harvard. All that tells the world is that, yo, Harvard's a pretty exceptional place. The alumni donated $53 billion just last year. Right? Crazy, imagine that. So really, that's the, even when you become wealthy, the epitome of success is like, hey, what do you do with the money now? You're a billionaire, yeah, to buy all the planes and supercars and all that. Eventually you still get bored, and then what you do, you give money back to the school to name a building after you. That's how it's done, right? One of the things too is, anyone ever been to the Museum of Science and Industry? Raise your hand if you've never been. Never been? Okay, are you guys not from Chicago? Where you from? St. Louis. What part? Right? Hey, the Museum of Science and Industry, huge museum, right? Awesome. It's not the Museum of Science and Industry no more. What is it now? It's the King Griffin Museum of Science, Museum of Science and Industry, right? He donated how much? Somebody can Google how much King Griffin donated to the Museum of Science and Industry. I believe, I don't know, close to $1 billion, over $1 billion, something of the sort. But the point is like, it's giving back. The money's supposed to be a community thing, giving back, right? Your worth is based on your results, how well you use it. So not-for-profits are, they're challenging. They're very challenging to run, right? Because you can't say, hey, we got so big that we want to sell shares to people, right? You can't do that. So you're kind of government says, hey, even though you're limited, the real break in it is the tax break. Right? So you're like, hey, you don't pay any taxes. That's, kind of that's a victory. So that can mean, think about this, how much taxes it will cost for this university to pay each year, just for the real estate. Ridiculous, right? Like they don't have to do that, they don't have to worry about that. So like it's kind of a victory. Like they may not even pay taxes on a lot of the stuff that they bought for the university stuff too. So that's awesome. So if you have a successful not-for-profit, you can get free money from donations and you don't pay taxes. So most churches are not-for-profit. Right? Probably about 95% of churches. And universities goes as well too. Both those institutions are not-for-profit. But they have to buy things, right? They need a lot of stuff. Churches and schools and other businesses. Foundations and charities and the like. One of the, I would say, smart ways about going along with your business is to usually have two partners. It really depends on how big you get, right? Usually have the for-profit, but you're also thinking about like a not-for-profit that you put the money for profit in to not-for-profit. You can do some great stuff. And you have something, even we're talking photography, like eventually you get into, like, hey, you know what, I was interested in photography, I started a successful photography business, but I also want to start a photography school and get people interested. A small little school for grade school, I need a building, classes, curriculum, you have not-for-profit, but you pay on taxes on that building, taxes on anything you bought for that building, right, or even for the curriculum and all the stuff. You're like, whoa, that's awesome. And then that can have value too, that increases in value on its own. So it's kind of smart, obviously, to have both. You usually want to have both, the for-profit and the not-for-profit side. Architect producers are companies that purchase goods and services that are transformed into other products. Resellers sell goods and services produced by the companies without material change. Right, the resellers. And then, who's the largest employer in the United States? Who employs the most people? McDonald's. Anyone else? Amazon. Anyone else? Usually for any country, it's the government. Right? The government provides the most jobs. The federal government is the largest employer in the United States. If we were to talk about the city of Chicago, it's probably the city of Chicago may be the largest employer in the city of Chicago, right? The actual city. Talking the state, talking about people who work in state agencies and departments, probably the largest in the state of Illinois, probably the largest employer in the state of Illinois. Right, so the government is usually the largest employer. That's why even the government can try to change the economy sometimes by creating new departments, which means they'll give new jobs to try to boost the economy. It's like, oh, we're gonna hire 13,000 new people into the government jobs, since the other private companies aren't doing it. We'll do it, and boost the economy, and make it look good. I mean, like, who's paying for that? Taxpayers. Like, who's paying for this guy's $100,000 EPA government job? Yeah, we're paying. So the government needs a lot of things. You think of all those departments, Department of Education, the EPA, the FBI, the CIA, who's gonna buy the guns, the equipment, the lasers? Oh, the CIA wants to need a drone to go wipe out a cartel in Mexico. Who's gonna buy the $1 million drone? Who's gonna buy this? Who's gonna buy this? It's a lot of money from taxpayers, right? So the government needs a lot of things. And what it needs that is contracts. Hey, can you build us a drone, Lockheed Martin? Sure, we'll do it. It's gonna cost us $500 million. But it really, why it costs so much? We inflated the price of it. The government says we have a free checkbook called taxes, bam, here's your $500. But really only maybe cost $50 million to do it. So sometimes the best businesses to get into is government contract. Literally a blank check. There's no, the bills not gonna come, the money's not gonna come late, because none of that, no issues that you would have with other companies. So the government is a strong market, a very strong market, government contracts, right? All those police cars you see outside, you drive around, they cost money, and the uniform, and their pension, and their salary, right? And the guns, and everything else. And the prisons, and et cetera, et cetera. Make up the largest single business and organizational market in the U.S. And it's probably for every country around the world. Usually the government's the largest employer. Always remember that, right? And institutions, we said that's just a broad term for not-for-profit organizations and for-profit. All right, and then we got different buying classes. How do we go about buying, right? If we're Starbucks, we say, hey, we know exactly what we need each week. So we have an inventory system to show us what we're missing of the same stuff, the same syrups, the same milk, the same coffee. So it's not a very critical process for us to reorder something. So we do a rebuy. Like, oh, we do a quick rebuy. We're just buying the same stuff over and over again. Rather than inventory bring it back. Same with maybe go for Walgreens, Target, maybe under that, right? A supermarket, do a straight rebuy. We're out, we buy, we get it from the same suppliers, the same stuff. That's what we call a straight rebuy. All right, a modified rebuy would be like, hey, there's a little bit of changes. What companies do you think will probably have to modify the rebuy? They're like, hey, you know, every once in a while we get some significant changes we gotta think about and buy as a business. Do you think of any companies that kind of change over time what they sell, what they offer? Anything. Right? Think of a car manufacturer. Oh, the 2026 just came out. What's that, 2026? All new blah blah. A different design, right? Different electronics, more updated. Different tires, right? Different layout. All different stuff. So it may be, hey, we keep a lot of the same components that the customer can't see. The screws, the nuts, the bolts, the engine, blah, blah, blah. But like, we gotta get some new updated electronics from a South Korean manufacturer, right? Or this or that, right? And then we get a new task line, which means that everything is just gonna be completely new, kind of starting all over from scratch, which can be a car manufacturer as well too. It's just like a completely new line of vehicles that's happening. But new task means completely new products that we need to purchase. And then system selling, kind of all in one. Like, hey, I need you to sell me an all-in-one. I need you to solve several problems with one kind of bundle. Can you think of any company that even you participate in that sells you bundles? Yeah, sell things in a bundle. Like it solves the problem, yes.
Right. When I think of bundle, I think of like a bundle for like photos. It's like, oh, for this wedding, let's send you a bundle of X amount of photos, X amount of videos, something like that.
Yeah, you're like, hey, it solves the problems in variation of ways, right? You can think of cable services. You're like, oh, we give you cable in the security system. That's a bundle, but you get a discount. If you buy it alone on its own, it's gonna be more expensive. So buy a bundle. Cable, internet, security system, for your apartment, your house, whatever the case may be, right? Like you saw solved all the problems. And he not have it, he could go to 3 different places or 3 different packages, right? So it solves the system. What you can think of as a business is, let's say you're gonna open up a retail store, right? And once again, you say, hey, you know what? Comcast, or whoever, can you sell me the internet that I need in this business? You gotta play some TV programs, so I need you to sell me some streaming services or cable services. I need you to sell me some radio programs, right? So I can play particular stations that are for corporations, so not get sued for copyright, like just random visiting or stuff like that, right? You might, oh yeah, by the way, we need to check people out at the POS system, right? Point of service system. Do you supply that POS system? Oh, what about security? Do you do cameras too? Right? If you have a company that you can go to that we solve everything, we'll bring somebody out there, look at the layout of your building, right? Look at the schematics, and we'll probably look at the plan so we can solve everything. That will be a systems buy, right? As opposed to going to 8 different types of vendors. So, to say business is complex, right? It is very complex. We haven't even got to the part about making money. And we're thinking of all the different things you're gonna need in order to have something to sell and have a good environment. Actually, I was gonna ask you, let's see. All right, so maybe we'll do this for the next 5 minutes to kind of break things up. Let's think of some different, one of each one of these classes within your group, right? These sort of buy classes. Let's think of straight rebuys, right? Modified rebuys, new task buys, and system selling. So I'll just leave that up there too as a reference, right? For you. So we'll stick with some straight rebuys, some modified rebuys, new task buys, and some system sellings. I'll give you about 5 minutes to talk with your group about that. And if you can't, think of something really close to home, personal, for some of the issues. And don't use the examples that I gave. something that I kind of, forgot to tell you when it came to shares, right, when we talked about not-for-profit versus for-profit. You know, there's private shares and there's public shares. So public shares are up on the public stock exchange, right? We would go on whatever apps you use to invest and buy those stocks, right? But then private stock, let's say you just started an LLC, right? You could say from this LLC, I'm gonna create 1 million shares of private stock. And somebody's like, oh, you didn't even make $1. How are you gonna create 1 million shares? Because you can. You're like, all right, interesting. So you're gonna sell parts of your company, a portion to people. How much you gonna charge for this share? You're like, I don't know, $1,000 a piece. Well, you need the money for it to make the business work. Make it operate. And so you can do that in a private situation. You can create as many shares as you want. Privately, you're not up on those stock exchanges, but you as a personal business to say, hey, I'll sell you 5% of the company, right? Or these amount of shares at this price. With a not-for-profit, that's something you can't do, right? So that's just another distinguishable thing, right? Good example would be like the lemonade stand. You buy a hammer, start a lemonade stand on the corner right here, whatever, Augusta and Harlem. You got a little lemonade stand, and you just sell the lemonade. And you just say, hey, you know what, I have a little LLC for the lemonade stand. And somebody's like, man, this is good, you've been killing it with the lemonade stand. I saw you make like $500 the other day. And then you're like, yeah, I have. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create 20 shares at $500 a piece for this lemonade stand. Would you like to buy a share? Like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Sign up a little contract. That person gives you $500, now you go buy another lemonade stand. Right? You can be like, well, I still got 19 more shares I can sell. I'm gonna sell the rest of these at $1,000. Take 500 for each lemonade stand, pocket the rest, and you're making money. And now your business is, now you got 100 lemonade stands. You're like, how did you get 100 lemonade stands? I just created 20 shares from this LLC. That's the simplicity of how big the business can become if we do it the right way. You know what I mean? Because what people are buying is the idea, the concept, and the success of what you're doing. That's how every business with every stock works. So when the stock price goes up, it's the fact that people don't feel that you're doing the right thing. No, it could be Tesla stock drops 50%. Why? I don't know. There's news that something bad in the wiring harness went bad and kills people now. People are like, I'm my money out. We'll put it somewhere else because that's going to be a big problem. Right? That's how it works on the behavior of the business, the concept and the idea of the business, right? On how much a person perceives that the business is worth. So you think that you can start any LLC and just have shares. As long as your idea is good enough, you can sell those shares whenever you say they're worth. You can say they're worth $1 million. Somebody else might laugh at you, like, yeah, all right. But somebody else might buy it. So the success is really in the idea, the concept, and the success of the company, how they believe that you're going to work. But then you could have all started LLCs and be selling shares already to some people that you know. Hey, mom and dad, I'm offering you 5%. Give me $20,000 for my business. Right? But they're like, hey, you know what? Okay, I want 5%. So I get 5% of all your sales. You make $1 million, now I'm rich. Done. Everybody's happy. Right? It could be as simple, but a little bit more complicated than that. Okay, I'll give you a few more minutes. Come up with one each. Okay, let's see what we came up with. Let's start way in the back this time. What were some of your examples?
For the straight device, you said that if a company were to order computers, they'd be ordering the same computers from the same dealer.
Okay, they're ordering from, let's say, Apple, Dell, Microsoft, Hewlett Packard, Google. Right, from either one of them, the same sort of business. Okay.
For like modified device, like, so like if companies, or hotels, buy like bags from a company, they might buy like, maybe twin size beds, but maybe for like different rooms to buy, from the same company, like king size beds.
Yeah, you're like, hey, there's different size beds for different size suites that we get in rooms in hotels, so it's a little bit modified, not all same thing. Anything else?
For the new test buys, we said a retail chain opening a new store and like they will buy furniture or like lights and they'll do that because they'll research and select products that fits like the store's needs.
Yeah, you're like, hey, they gotta fit what needs to fit in that space, right? Certain things have to be specific to what, that environment is in that retail space. And what else?
And then system selling, so like if a wholesale chain wants to like upgrade their guest experience by like upgrading their like Wi-Fi and like television, instead of buying like a routers and top like each room, they just get like a bundle, and then includes like high speed technology, you know, instead of just being one for each one, just get them building package.
So bundle the technology with the hotel chain. All right, good examples. Let's start with over here.
For straight rebuys, say, you could buy like the same kind of pencils over and over again. For modified rebuy, you could upgrade the pencil next time. So instead of it's on over, go for like premium lead pencil.
Yeah, it's like, what, 2HB, a number 2 pencil, right, a number 2 HB pencil, all type of different graphite, that's in the pencils, okay.
And then for new task buys, it said, like, if a business is purchased like Microsoft, like Microsoft 365 is that's new for them. And then system selling, I felt like you could technically like Alex said, it's kind of the same as buying the Microsoft,
Mhm.
because it's also like its own whole system.
Yeah. You're right, yeah, it's like, hey, Microsoft Office Suite is a prime example of system selling. Oh, you're gonna give me Excel, Microsoft Word, right? You're gonna give me Microsoft PowerPoint? You're literally gonna give me everything that I need to both be a student, or work in an education system, or be a business, right? So they're gonna have meetings, and type up documents, do spreadsheets, show figures, numbers. So yeah, it's a perfect example of a system selling. All right, yeah.
Straight wise, we just like company ordering the same product immediately. Getting construction company, buying the same product for concrete, that's your go-to.
All right, like, hey, maybe the concrete doesn't really change that way, right? Like concrete might be concrete.
A modified remark would be like a restaurant, putting in seasonal items, let's say, using the same process every night.
Yeah, that's a great example. Like, hey, it's seasonal, it's Christmas time, it's Halloween, it's Thanksgiving. Right, we gotta modify things in the same space, and it might be next to the same old items we have, but those are different. Items. Yes, anything else?
Yeah, systems selling would be like, I thought like Gillette selling a razor and blade together in the package.
Yeah, right. Gillette really tried to do that. Right? They tried to say, oh, buy the stand for the razor too, right? Oh, you actually need somewhere where it could be stand vertical. We'll say the little stand, we'll say the razor, and we'll send the actual thing to shave with. Or even if you're talking about electric razors, like they have a whole little system for, oh yeah, by the way, you need soap afterwards for that particular skin we have, oily, not oily, right? To go after you shave, right? Oh, you need some little lotion afterwards so it can cool down the effect of shaving, right? Some after shave. You need some prep, oh, you need a brush, right? That's an entire solution for a problem. A problem like, do that, like, how do I shave and look good, right? So they sell, Gillette sells you a whole entire package of solutions. Anything else?
And then for, Luke says probably, with the people is, I like race, electric race, you know, so, probably when they first started moving to that, they started buying really package, like, small.
Yeah, you like, hey, before it used to be corded, right? Imagine how annoying it was to have this cord while you're trying to shave. The cord might be too short, so how do you keep it, right? And then you're like, how do you eliminate that? Just have a good rechargeable lithium-ion battery. And then you're like, there's some more problems. Like, oh, body shave. Not just my face, I gotta shave my body, right? That could be new, right? Now we offer body shave, 2 different trimmers on each edge of the contraption, right? We could solve it with your face and your body in one thing. So yeah, that's a great example. What about here?
So for straight rebuys, we said like buying notebooks for classes, just over and over buying notebooks. And then for modified rebuy, we said switching from an Apple computer to like a Windows computer. And then for new task buys, we said like a small business starting up and then having to buy from that new business. And then for system selling, we said buying a phone and then buying storage for that phone.
Yeah, you're like, hey, they're selling the iPhone. And you're like, okay, I can't afford off the bat 256 gigabyte or the 5 gigabyte or the 1 gigabyte phone. I take a lot of photos and videos and a lot of stuff on it. So what's the solution, Apple? It's like, oh, okay, just buy the 256 at a decent price and we'll sell you cloud storage, iCloud, at $9.99. Right? Terabyte worth, right? All right, well, that appears to be the bundle. Oh yeah, what if I drop my phone, Apple? I'm like, well, buy the Apple Care too. Oh, that'll cost you X amount of dollars. Oh yeah, well, don't you need a case? Like, why do I need a case? I thought we don't put a case on cars. Like, yeah, I want it to be personalized. And if I drop it, I'll break it, like, lie about the glass half the world. So you're like, oh, you gotta buy a case too. Well, how do you listen to your music? You'll be annoying people and playing YouTube on the bus and everybody hear it. You're like, no, you need some AirPods. You need some Beats headphones, right? And talk to you with the AirPods, right? How you gonna hold it up on the table there? You know, you can buy a little case with a little flip so you can watch YouTube without falling over. You're like, these are a lot of problems. So the problem with system selling is like, hey, there's a problem, right? And we can solve it all with this one kind of device and a little bit of accessory as well too. So, and some subscriptions to some stuff. And lastly, over here.
For straight rebuys, we said like any kind of like sandwich or like sub shop, like every week or 2 you might have to reorder just like the same ingredient, your same ingredients. And for modified rebuy, we said this could be like in an office setting, just like office supplies. So you could be getting like various different types of printer paper or your pens or whatever. For new task buy, we said if you're starting out like a lawn care business, you're gonna buy pretty much everything like at once. You're gonna buy all your stuff and it will serve you for the time that you're on it. And then for system selling, we said like a dental office, like sometimes they will do like everything, like they do like whitening, cleaning, and everything is like one procedure.
Yeah, right. See, like, hey, that's part of their promotion is, as a dentist, to say, hey, you get a discount, we bundle it all up, right? You get your deep cleaning, you get your checkups, you get some work done if you need to, cavity filling, all in one, will save you some money, right? We'll bundle it all into one. As you maybe come here in 2 different sort of appointments. All right. you to think about this stuff, like, hey, it's really about problems. We all got problems and we need solutions. So how do we solve them? We solve them using decisions and alternatives, right? What are the alternatives out there before we make a choice? All right, that is pretty much it. I want you to, maybe my next class, have an idea to share about what your company is gonna be, right? Try to get some ideas, maybe even today when you leave, drive around, or whatever you do, catch a bus or whatever, look at some companies around the neighborhood, and be like, hey, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they can make good money. I wonder if they're failing as a business. I wonder if they have a great market, or they're marketing stocks. Maybe we should,